Guys, welcome back to another episode of Ryan's Rundown. Today we're going to be discussing one of Hollywood's most controversial rising stars, Rachel Zegler, and the drama and backlash surrounding her role as Snow White in Disney's live-action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And if you're not already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below so you can get notified every time I upload a brand new video. Now, let's get into the rundown. It's been a whirlwind of opinions and fan speculation. It's been a media frenzy in general. Rachel's Snow White drama has gotten backlash from fans, critics. So, what's really going on with Rachel Zegler and her role in this movie? Let's break it down. We're going to go over all things casting, to the drama surrounding the film, and why it's all blowing up right now. Let's first take a trip down memory lane for Miss Rachel Zegler. So, back in June of 2021, that is when Rachel Zegler was announced as the role of the leading actress Snow White in Disney's live action remake Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is actually directed by Mark Webb. And this was honestly met with a lot of excitement from fans and from the media in general because Rachel Zegler had just come off of her breakout role as Maria in West Side Story, which was directed by Steven Spielberg. So obviously, big production. So she was already gaining recognition for her acting abilities. Snow White is one of those movies that has been around for decades and it's going to be around for more decades to come. So it was kind of exciting that we were going to get a remake. People are excited about Rachel being Snow White, and then there is a completely other argument of why Rachel was even cast because she is of Latina descent. Now, you think that a move that would be towards more diversity in Hollywood would be something to be celebrated, right? Well, that's not the case. The biggest argument people are giving is that it is not historically accurate for Snow White to be Latina, which is crazy. And there's a whole other argument of people who are saying, well, Snow White was originally created by the Grimm brothers. They want her to stick to her European roots, despite the fact that this is literally a fairy tale land we're talking about. Now, I'm going to keep it real. We're quick to jump on the bandwagon of Snow White is not Latina. Snow White is just European. She's a white girl. She is not Latina in any way. And to me, this felt like the same conversation around Disney's live action remake of The Little Mermaid with Halle Bailey. The controversy around her was that Ariel should be white, and now she's African American. If anything, it's about time Disney had some inclusivity in those movies. So this felt like the same conversation to me regarding Rachel Zegler and Halle Bailey. Moving on, Rachel Zegler wasn't going to stay quiet with all the backlash of her cast in this role. There are multiple videos of her talking on the red carpet about this situation. I feel like the more she spoke about it, the more backlash she started to get. So let's watch a video of her on the red carpet.
Cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time. Cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I remember seeing on TikTok, everybody was stitching the weird moment with Rachel. And I actually thought it was funny. Not only are people upset that Rachel Zegler is Latina, and so she doesn't look like the original Snow White that they know, people are now even more upset with her because she is trying to change the narrative. It's a bit more of a woke Snow White. Instead of Snow White waiting for the man to come and save her, it seems like Rachel Zegler's Snow White, she's taking the initiative. I think this one is set up to where she's supposed to save herself and she's not going to just wait around for a prince to come and save her. Her intentions aren't to try and replace Snow White, but to bring a fresh take on a character that is beloved by pretty much everybody. She's trying to make it clear that her role isn't just to be another Snow White in a reboot. She's trying to become more relatable to a wider audience. There's a premiere where Rachel Zegler showed up in a white gown, and this was actually one of the most talked about red carpet moments of the year because Rachel Zegler stepped out in a high fashion, beautiful looking gown amidst like all of the backlash because it's peaking, right? Her backlash just keeps going up and up and up and up. She's just owning her body. She's owning herself. She's owning the whole moment. She was the moment. But this was really a pivotal moment for Rachel Zegler because I feel like she's showing everybody that she doesn't really necessarily need to hide when there's backlash. She can confront it head on. And honestly, props to Rachel Zegler for coming out and still showing face. So we have the casting drama, and then we have the drama with Rachel being very vocal on the red carpet. Let's talk about the dwarf drama because this is actually crazy. The trailer, which I'm not going to play because copyright, if you look up the trailer, the CGI in this movie, I was really excited for watching this trailer in the movie until I realized how badly CGI'd the dwarfs were because people didn't initially think the dwarfs were going to be CGI at all. The first casted actors for the dwarves weren't CGI, and they were just a mix of different actors who weren't traditionally short stature like the dwarfs in the 1937 animation film Snow White. And I think the filmmakers did this because they were trying to avoid a controversy of not being inclusive, right? So they cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White and she's a Latina woman. They make the dwarves different heights, right? So being more inclusive. But people wanted the opposite. They wanted something that was so very close to their original Snow White that they loved. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you even care? Right? Like, I don't know. Most people think this is Disney just responding to the times that we live in, where we're trying to make everything very inclusive and one for all for one type vibe, right? Which is nice, but unfortunately, while others think that critics and fans are just overreacting about everything, and then other people think Disney is overreacting and turning their beloved iconic movies like Snow White into something that they claim that they don't even recognize. But let's be real, Rachel Zegler is just the face of a much bigger conversation that has been needing to be had in the world of Hollywood. Let's take a little look at what some users over on Threads have been saying about Snow White in general. Ireland.Brianna says, the problem with Rachel Zegler playing Snow White isn't necessarily that she's a Latina, but that she has spoken so distastefully and disrespectfully about the story itself and artists of the past that created it, that it's hard to understand why she even accepted the role. Other, more respectable actors would have accepted the role graciously and have done the story justice. Interesting take, Ireland. You guys let me know down below. Do you guys agree with any of these comments? I really want to know. Isageration says, unpopular opinion, Rachel Zegler's singing voice does remind me of Snow White. That's the extent of my opinion that I'll put out public. No hate allowed. See, so it's not like everybody's hating on the movie. There are people who are still really excited about this movie. And JV Nettie says, I'm all for diversity, but Rachel Zegler is so lame to me and for Snow White. So JV Nettie's basically saying that she would be fine with somebody of a Latina descent playing Snow White, but because it's Rachel Zegler, she's like, wah, wah. That does suck for Rachel Zegler that people just do not enjoy her as a person. With the highly anticipated Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs coming out early in 2025, the predictions for how much the movie is going to gross are kind of crazy. It looks like the budget of the movie was a little bit over 200 million bucks. It was about 214 million dollars, and people think it's going to absolutely flop. Like, people are not excited for this movie. Imagine if you were Rachel Zegler and you got this role in this movie and there was so much backlash surrounding your movie that people don't think they're going to net any money. That's just really unfortunate. Let me know what you guys think down below about the whole money situation. Are you guys gonna see Snow White? Have you guys seen any movies that Rachel Zegler has been in? Because she was obviously in West Side Story, and she recently starred in the Hunger Games movie not too long ago. So her having another big role with Disney, I'm sure she doesn't want it to flop. Let me know down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Ryan's Rundown. I'll see you guys later. Bye now.